30 years, this house has welcomed young men searching for meaning, listening for a call, learning slowly what it means to give one life in service. Within these walls, time moves in a particular way. Days are shaped by prayer and study, by work and silence, by life shared with others on the same path. Before the titles, before the responsibilities, before the future takes form, there is formation. Formation is lived over time, in routines repeated day after day, in guidance received and questioned, in community where one is known, challenged, and supported. It is not rushed. It is not imposed. It is learned by living. Each day begins the same way, in silence, before the world awakens. This morning is not different for the seminarian Nixon Philimatus. He rises. He doesn't know where the road will lead. But today, like those who came before him 30 years ago, he begins here. Every morning begins with a choice to remain where it is comfortable or to rise for something greater than oneself. And before words are spoken, is a question each seminarian carries. Why do I rise today?
When the alarm rings, I ask myself, should I put it off and continue sleeping or not? But I remember that there are people who are waiting for me. Yes, I'm in the formation house, but I bear in mind that there are people, today I'm here, tomorrow they will be in need of me. At times it's very difficult even to wake up because of tiredness. You feel like, should I go or not? But when I remember that this is the life I have chosen to live, then I force myself to wake up. Then I continue with my daily activities.
The day does not begin with words, it begins with movements, with footsteps shaped by habit and hope, a quiet procession before the world awakens. These steps are not hurried, they carry intention. They lead to the place where every day is first entrusted. Before schedules, before study, before ministry, there is prayer. Here, the heart is taught to listen before it learns to speak. Morning after morning, these young men return to the same truth. They are not the source of their calling. They come to remember who calls and why they rise. In prayer, the day is received, not as a task to be conquered, but as a gift to be lived.
Okay. This morning we started our daily activities with a morning prayer, which we come before the Lord giving thanks for giving us a new day and giving praise, because we know in anything, whoever calls you is the one who knows how well you should do his work. So we come before him, giving thanks, and also listen to him, what he tells us in the morning, what we are supposed to do during the day. So after that, we are ready to go to continue with our daily activities.
Prayer does not end at the chapel door. It continues in another form. What is received in silence must be lived with the hands. For a time each morning, hands speak. Here, work is not punishment. It is formation. It teaches patience, responsibility, attention to what is small. The ground is clean, the house is cared for, and quietly the heart is shaped. In this place, no task is beneath the priest they are becoming, because the one who one day will serve the altar must first learn to serve.
This is where I'm working, Every day I come here because I've been appointed to work in the garden, and this is part of our garden, the greenhouse. On the other part of the garden is outside there. So manual it means a lot to me, especially when it comes to the self-independent kind of life. We are trained to be independent, not waiting for somebody to do for us. We should be the first one to take initiative and do what we feel like is good for us. At the same time, we are learning about agriculture. Today we are here, tomorrow we don't know where we will be. So our life depends in the environment we are living on. Today we find ourselves in different area because we have trained to do this kind of works. Tomorrow, whatever we find ourselves, we are able to be equipped and live our life freely.
What was learned in the soil, in the sweat and effort, now flows into another rhythm of the day. Formation is not only discipline or prayer, it is community. It is life shared in ordinary moments. Here at the table, a different lesson unfolds. Shared meals teach gratitude, patience, and presence. The small conversations, the laughter, the care for one another all shape the heart as much as any prayer or study. In this simple act of eating together, seminarians practice fellowship, attentiveness, and joy. The day's work and prayer are nourished, and so are the bonds that will carry them forward. Strength renewed, the house slowly empties, doors close, bags are lifted, steps turn outward. What was shared in quiet conversation, what was learned in sweat and labor, now travels with them down the road. Formation is a journey of the whole person, body, heart, and mind. And now the mind is called to awaken. Each step carries intention. Each footfall is a reminder. Formation is not confined to one space. It follows them, moving through streets, across corners, into classrooms. The world awaits beyond these walls, but here, in these halls of learning, knowledge meets discernment, and curiosity is shaped into wisdom. They enter with eyes open, minds ready to listen, hearts ready to reflect. What begins in prayer and is reinforced in work now meets study, the gift of learning, discipline, and dialogue. Here, they are trained not only to know, but to understand, to engage, to question, and to grow.
And this is where our intellectual part of formation is nurtured. So, as I remember this academic year, at the beginning, we had a retreat, and the facilitator told us it's not enough to be a missionary, but we need a missionary who is competent and fruitful for the betterment of the mission. So, as a missionary, we are preparing ourselves to be fit in the mission by being both intellectually, spiritually, human, and pastorally well formed. If not, we are going to be just a missionary there, but we don't know what we are doing there. So this is to help us to understand what we believe and what we are going to share to the people.
The morning has been spent in study, reading, writing, thinking. Now it is time for a pause, and lunch provides that moment to rest, to refresh the body, and prepare for what comes next. After the meal, attention shifts to small tasks: washing dishes, cleaning tables, restoring the space. Every plate clean, every surface put in order teaches patience, care, and responsibility. Every act, even the smallest, matters. With the day's first duties complete, the body seeks pause. Some days, this pause is followed by manual work, tending the grounds, caring for the house, learning responsibility through service. Other days, energy is released through sport, exercise, and games. Today, it is sport. Every pass, every play, every game is part of formation. Here, in movement and interaction, bonds are strengthened, discipline is practiced, and the day's rhythm continues.
Uh, Formation is not based on one dimension, that is spiritual dimension. It based on a different dimension, that is four dimensions, and one of them is human dimension. And sports is part of the human dimension, that is to make my body fit and also for my brothers to be fit. As we come here, you see we are happy, we enjoy ourselves. So it's part also of social life. We interact with each other, we talk to each other. As we interact, we get to know each other better, and also to reduce our stresses. We remove our stresses as we come to play here.
Every day in this house is different, but every day is part of the same formation. In this house, formation is lived, not just taught. Every prayer, every lesson, every act, small or great, builds the person they are becoming. But this journey is not walked alone. Behind each step, each choice, each moment, stand those entrusted with their accompaniment and guidance, the formators. To understand how this guidance shapes daily life and transforms routine into a journey of service, we now meet them, the formators, those who help turn these young men's potential into the priests they are becoming.
I am happy with the work that I'm doing because I received, and if I receive, I think the best way of giving thanks is to give back what I received, and the SMA has invested in me a lot. 10 years of specialization, and then so as much as I've received, I have to give back, and I try to give it back with joy. And the second aspect is that I'm not alone. I am with a team, and we have a great team where there is collaboration, understanding, the same vision. So I am happy with what I'm doing, and I'm more happier because of the growth I see in the seminarians. They are talented, they are committed, there is a willingness. We can see in the way they respond to the formation program that they really want to be part of SMA, they are proud to be SMA, and they want to be trained for the mission that awaits them. So when we have a positive response like that from the formees, it is fulfilling. But having said that, there are from time to time some challenges, and those challenges should always be there as a parent. When you look at the way things are going, you are asking yourself, am I doing well? Are we leading the house in the right direction? Are the perspectives of the program that we are setting, is it really helpful? Is it forming the missionaries that we want tomorrow? Are we creating the formation environment in which our seminarians can be free, can live in maturity, can respond in transparency? So that is an ongoing question that we have to ask ourselves, so that we can always seek the need, the well-being of our seminarians. So there are joys, there are questions, and then there are challenges, the fatigue also, because it is not easy to run a house like that in all the formators, all the formees, we are busy, and at times the program can make us go through some fatigue. So there is a need for a constant renewal of ourselves to deliver the task.
I see it as a privilege. I see it as a privilege, and I also see it as a sacred responsibility as well. Okay, because a very important aspect of the life of our congregation has been given to me in a sense, in my capacity as a Dean of Students in this formation house. And so I see it as such. It's a sacred responsibility, and I try as much as I can to carry out this ministry.
There are 4 dimensions of the formation. We have the human development, we have the spiritual development, academic, pastoral. The academic aspect is well catered for at Tangaza, and our seminarians are really dedicated. We have good, experienced spiritual directors that accompany them. And then for the pastoral aspect, we have on weekends, the theologians will go, they are assigned to specific places where they can go for pastoral. Now when it comes to the human development, that is where it becomes a bit difficult. We don't have enough time to create or to organize workshops for them to work on themselves. And that is the most important, one of the most important aspects of priestly formation. Because priestly formation is not intellectual, it is the gift of ourselves to the people of God. And we have to give the best version of ourselves. So we are aware of our shortcomings, we are aware of our gifts, but when it comes to our daily struggle, each one of us, formees or formators, we know ourselves, we know where we have to work, the things that we have to improve. But if we are not equipped, we know what we have to do, but we don't have the capacity to do it. Yes, there is the grace of God. So there is a need to organize workshops like nonviolent communication, self-awareness, transactional analysis, what else? Management of emotions. So it is when we get those tools that throughout the formation program with the spiritual director for someone who needs, for instance, their counseling sessions, those are opportunities where we can grow and give the best of ourselves to the people of God. But in this house, it is very limited, the time available when we move the lectures hours. So what we do is during the midterm break that we organize, so twice in a year, some workshop like that to equip the seminarians. So that is one aspect that is challenging in terms of formation. The time available to dedicate to the human formation. But human formation is not only with workshop. We have the spiritual direction, we have the day-to-day interaction, because we are brought together to help one another. So the feedback we receive from one another also helps in that journey. But there will be need to more organized professional work in that area.
To aim at helping the seminarians, beside the academics, to acquire a certain level of emotional and social maturity. The second thing is that we must form priests who are deeply rooted in the realities of today, so that they can be the priests who are prophets at the same time for today's society. If we reach that level, I think that we have a complete person.
We strive to live here as brothers, as one family, and responsibility in terms of each person, taking responsibility for his own formation and for the formation of others as well. So we know we are brothers and we strive to live as such. Of course, we are not perfect, but at least this is the ideal that we are all striving towards. And this really gives us direction and marks the spirit. All seminarians in the house have responsibilities in terms of the offices where they work, morning function or the semester responsibilities. Some work in the farm, some take care of the garden, flowers, responsibilities that cover every aspect of our lives here in the house. And it is in this area, especially in the littlest things, in the insignificant things that nobody sees, this is where a person understands his own sense of responsibility for the good of the community.
We create the structure, we create the environment, we make aware of the goals that we have to achieve together in terms of formation. We insist that contrary to vocational trainings, like becoming a carpenter, becoming a mason, formation, priestly formation is quite different because it is not only the acquisition of skills, but it is a journey of becoming. So the work has to be done by self on self, and we are there to accompany. Now, in that process, the response will vary from one candidate to another, depending on the difficulties, the history of the person, his background. So, case by case, we journey, we try to understand each one from his background, from his previous journey as a candidate. And then at times, the response may not be up to the expectation. But before we express, we tell a candidate, a seminarian, that this might not be his vocation or his place. It means that we have met several times to discuss different aspects, making assessment of the journey. So much so that when the decision is taken, it's not a surprise. Most often, it can happen that someone may not understand the decision, but we try to, before I say that this is the decision, I go through different aspects that we have been discussing about. We say, what do you think? Do you think that they have been improved? Do you think where are you now? And in most cases, we come to a common understanding.
We have people who have sacrificed and contributed a lot to what we are seeing here presently, both the physical structures and the formation of seminarians. Here in Kenya, we have the Friends of the SMA in our various parishes, and some of them are not parishioners of the SMA-run parishes. And these people journey with us, they visit us from time to time, they give us in cash and in kind, they contribute from the little that they have. We thank them immensely. Some of them take responsibility also for the school fees of particular seminarians. Okay? So we cannot thank them enough. We can't thank them enough. According to our prayer for our benefactors, it is by their sacrifices that we are able to live the lives that we live comfortably to a great extent, and we have access to the many blessings that the Lord has given to us because of them. So we say a big thank you to our benefactors, our supporters in and outside Kenya. And supporting staff are also a really very important aspect of our daily lives here in the house. It is usually said that it is those who work in the background who are the most significant, and we really appreciate them. So we express our gratitude. There is a lot we are able to achieve because they have our backs, because they are working in the background, and it is something we really appreciate. So thank you.
As our founder said, my work will last if there is a willingness, and you are that willingness. And each one of us is trying to express that willingness of being part of the SMA. So we have been always discussing lack of personnel, but the most important thing is not the number, is to have, because I should sometimes I look at the work we are doing here from HR, human resource person. If you are investing money in the training of personnel and then tomorrow you cannot use them, that is a bad investment, or investment that is a loss. But we are happy, we are blessed to have people who are willing to be part of the SMA, to work in accordance to the SMA vision, and that is my joy. And I really praise our seminarians for that commitment.
30 years is more than time passing. It is lives formed, hearts shaped, a mission carried forward. Here in the SMA Formation House of Nairobi, young men have learned to pray, to study, to serve, and to listen for a call greater than themselves. This house was built by many, by founders who believed, by formators who accompanied, and by communities who trusted the journey. What began here did not remain here. It went out to parishes, missions, and lives in need. Today, the house still forms, still listens, still hopes. Not as a memory of the past, but as a place where formation continues each day and as a promise for the future. 30 years of formation, 30 years of service. The mission continues.